So we're a 501c3 nonprofit, a division of VRF. We're located in the Intertech One Science Park. It's a really high-tech building you saw in the video that sits at the corner of Mansfield Road and Kings Highway in Shreveport, between the two highways and the two hospitals that are there. We have been in operation since 2014. We've got amazing facilities. We've got a 1,600 square foot green screen, motion capture, and virtual reality stage. We've got a large classroom you saw in the videos. We've also got a smaller classroom we use for workforce development and extension. And we've got a really good backer in VRF, so we've got resources to help us grow the school. And that's been very important. It's really the kind of support that I wanted at LSU but didn't get. So I don't have to go out and raise money. I've got an annual budget. And it helps me greatly to make the school focus on student outcomes. Really, what this program is really about is the people that go through it and getting them to understand the skill sets in a very rapid model. So we are selective in who we take. We have two programs. We've got the Interactive Software Development Program, which is our game development program, which is our youngest program. And we have the AVEI program, which is Animation, Visual Effects, and Game Content. That program is the most mature. It's the program we started with. We just enrolled classes, actually, yesterday, so it's been a very couple of days for me. We've now got under the roof 14 students for the first half of 2017. So we are also currently a candidate for accreditation with the Council on Occupational Education. We expect to be completed with the accreditation process this calendar year. We recently received approval for the GI Bill for the school. We've been in operations now for a little over 2 years, and we're poised to become more self-sufficient once we achieve federal Title IV aid. We'll be on a level playing field with the schools in the area. So that's actually a big thing for us. So we're really excited about that opportunity to be able to grow the programs and make them more available to everyone in the community. Right now we're doing internal subsidies and internal financial aid to help offset the cost for people, but once we've got the ability to bring in federal subsidies, it'll help us quite a bit.
Hey, I'm Noah Baker. I teach the game development course here at DMI. It's a one-year program. Over the course of that year, you're going to make a lot of games. Because that's what the program's about. It's about making games and getting your portfolio ready to get a job. That's what we do. We get you ready to get a job in the game development industry. I've been working in it for, gosh, I guess the past 10 years as a professional software engineer, the past 6 as a professional game developer. But I've been making games on my own for, how old am I now? Like 15 years.
That's Nolan. This is Anna. We saw her in the video. She interned at Moonbot. Actually, she had 2 internships down there. They liked her so much they kept her on. And then,
Hi, I'm Greg Nelson. I'm the instructor here at the Animation and Visual Effects program with DMI. I've been working in the film and television industry for more than 20 years, so working here is a great opportunity for me to give back a lot of what I've learned in visual effects facilities and on set all over America. I spent a good portion of my time here in Shreveport working as the studio visual effects supervisor at Millennium Studios. It was my responsibility while I was there to hire artists and to review their work. So a lot of the processes that we put into place here at the DMI have been taken from real world experience. I know what it takes to get hired, I know what it takes to stay hired. So what we teach our students is exactly what they need to know as they go out into the world. Our program is an intensive one-year model. We pack a lot of information into those 12 months. It's a learn by doing approach, so we really make sure that our students know what they need to know to be employable at the end of that time. As a digital artist myself, I spend a lot of time talking about the best and fastest ways to get a complex project done. And that all kind of culminates into one really large project where we essentially kick our students out of the nest and say, okay, take all the stuff that we've taught you and put it into practice. In the end, our students have more experience and are more job ready than most four-year graduates.
And he's not kidding about that, and it's not because I pay him to tell you that. It's true, actually. We have about 1,000, both programs are over 1,000 hours. The game dev program is 1,024 hours, and the AVI program is 1,030 hours. And it's more exposure than you get in a four-year program that's not specifically targeted to these areas. What we're talking about is four-year programs in Louisiana that are in state schools. So at a state school, you might take 6 or 8 classes, 3 credit hour classes. on your way to a degree, a 120-hour degree. Nowhere near the amount of experience these guys have. We had students at LSU, when we had the pilot year of the program, they've been at LSU for 3 years, sometimes 4 years, sometimes 5 years, and they were only sophomores. And they'd walk up to the back of the DMC classroom, which was the prototype program, and they would get angry at these students who'd been in the class for 3 months, who had more experience in those 3 months because they were in school 5 hours a day, 5 days a week for 3 months. They had more hours in with the software and in training than they had in the 3 to 5 years they'd been there. So it really worked. It was actually proving itself against the 4-year model because it's where we took it at. I'm not opposed to the 4-year model. In fact, I'm a product of it. I think 4-year schools are fantastic. I just think that we probably focus on the wrong things in the state models here in this part of the country. Personally, I think if you really want to focus on getting people ready for a job, then you should have a program tailored to help them get a job, not learning a whole bunch of stuff that they're not going to be able to slog their way through while they're working their job or taking care of their kids or whatever your traditional student at LSU Shreveport is trying to do while they're trying to get their 4-year degree. It's not like, most of your students at LSU Shreveport in particular are non-traditional 4-year students, so they've already been in the world a little bit, they've got life issues, they're having a hard time balancing their 300-hour courses with their world. So this 1-year model, 9 to 3, Monday through Friday, for a year, and we get them ready. That's how it works. Or 5:30 to 11:30, Monday to Friday for a year, and we get them ready. We get more experience. We don't teach them anything they don't need to know, and we try and get them prepared to go into the workforce. We have a requirement, actually, through the accreditor to help get them started on job placement, and I'm happy to report our job placement rate is actually fantastic. So project-driven coursework, high accountability for GPA and attendance. They have to hold an 82%. They have to be there. They're accountable for all the hours. If they miss time, they have to make it up. We have great quality student outcomes, and then we're a candidate with COE. The outlook, right now we're at 93% and gaining as far as our placement rate, which is fantastic. We're accepting the GI Bill. We're working on, again, having our certificate programs have Title IV aid. And then beyond that, we're looking down the road at adding on an associate's degree target. Once we have accreditation, we'll be able to go back to the Board of Regents and ask for that ability. So we're hoping to have the associate's degree sometime in 18. And then we're also working to support a commercial makerspace in Shreveport. Something I wanted to mention to this group. There's a company called Tech Shop, which does commercial makerspaces around the country. I went and took their academy in San Francisco last year, and we are trying to work to bring them to the Shreveport-Bossier area. And they are one of the leaders in the commercial makerspace movement. They're a for-profit company. They're a major investor in Autodesk, which is one of the major companies that makes all the software we teach. So it's a good alignment for us. Again, I'm not involved with that company. I'm just trying to bring them to Shreveport-Bossier because I think it will help grow the community there. And then the last slide. By the way, I did finish that truck. Feel free to follow me on Facebook, LinkedIn. I'm on IMDb. Please take a look at the school, follow the school, like us on Facebook. Help get the word out. If you guys, I've left some rack cards out front. I've got some business cards here. If any of you know anybody who'd be interested in our program, please help us get the word out. This is base hit baseball in Shreveport, in Louisiana. We all have to help each other, and we're hoping to help you with your goals to grow the maker movement, and then I hope you help us as well. So, any questions? Okay, far left.
The 93% placement rate, what state do you place most of your own?
That's actually primarily local. Yes, we've been primarily placing folks local. Now, I do want to qualify the placement rate by saying that those are people who have met the accreditor standard for working, and a great deal of our students get placed into projects with outside companies and or paid internships. They're all paid positions, but they're just to get them started. They're not like, I'm not getting all the people hired into permanent positions with top-tier companies, but I am working with local companies to develop more digital media. In fact, we're working right now with the Shreveport Aquarium. I don't know if you guys know this, we're getting an aquarium in Shreveport. I'm working very closely with the aquarium folks who went through the Foundation's Entrepreneurial Accelerator Program, or EAP, which is a program I didn't mention. It's another division of VRF, where they have an accelerator and an angel fund. And they're spinning up lots of companies. So what I've been doing is I've been actually partnering my students with these companies as they get spun up to get them working with these companies. And the aquarium's going to need a lot of digital media content. So we're working on a lot of projects with the aquarium right now. Other questions?
Your website mentioned the summer camp.
Yes.
We've been talking about the game for about a year.
I would love to meet with them once he's high school age.
So, your summer camps are for high school?
Yes, our summer camps target rising ninth graders and up. And basically, they're a week long. They're located in Shreveport. And if you go on the website, send the info an email, get on the mailing list, you will get emails from us all the time, lots of marketing hype. But you will hear about our summer camps when they're announced each year. And we plan to keep doing them every summer. So we'd love to get you involved. Yes.
When I was at Stanford, we were trained for DVD authoring. When there was a group of kids that started their class next to us, about his age, video games. And we were there for all the time. I don't know who's doing the work. They're hospital district people. There's this business model that I'm familiar with where they're working at the keyboard and they're having sushi, like you said, behind you. Are you attracting people who are artistic and they see this as their next talent? They want to be artists and they use one of these tools.
Yes, absolutely. In fact, I often, when people come in to see me, I often talk about this continuum. I draw a line on a piece of paper, and on one end is the artist, on the other end is the technologist. And if we were to live in a sort of a simulation, there'd be everybody would be somewhere on this line. Every single one of us is somewhere between art and technology innately. And my goal with the programmatic content is to take you from wherever you might be and move you as close to the center of the scale as possible to enhance your employability. So if you're an artist, I try and get you to focus on the technology side. If you're a technologist, I try and get you to learn the creative side. Because this really, and this is something the university never really got, this is a hybrid space. It's a fusion of art and technology. Myself and people like me who do all this content that everyone consumes, we're hybrids. We are very much people who work on both sides of art and technology and its fusion together. And we tend to be people who are excellent problem solvers, but who are also very creative at the same time. Everybody's got these abilities. They can be trained. They can be focused. I've got lots of people in the programming. Our game development program tends to be where most of our technology-focused people are because they have to program. And then our content program tends to be where most of our art-oriented people are. We get lots of people that have great drawing portfolios and traditional arts portfolios. They usually end up in the content program. And then the game dev guys are usually not able to draw very well, and they're not very artistically creative, but that's not always true. We get sort of folks that are, again, across the spectrum between art and technology. And it's an important thing to understand when we're talking about any of this stuff, is that everybody has this scale in them. Everybody has a little bit of creativity and a little bit of technology. Some of us focus more on one side than the other. Like I said, I'm an artist. I've got 2 degrees in art, but I'm also a technologist. I've got a background in advanced computing, and I do high-end and IT. I've done my whole career, but I have to use both. You know, I have to use the creative side. I have to use the technological side. Otherwise, this stuff doesn't work. Does that make sense? That was the difference. I was forced. I had to graduate from my undergraduate degree. I had to take several courses on the Macintoshes and go over to the computing center, and it changed my life. You know, and I will tell you this: SVA in New York is a commercial artists school. It's a school that was started as a cartooning school in the 1940s, and it has always been focused heavily on training commercial artists. Now, I pretty much a lot of what you see in DMI and a lot of what I do comes out of my commercial experience, comes out of making money doing computer graphics. So to be able to make money, you have to understand the art commerce components. You have to understand the technology and the art. So you need to know all of these things and how to put them together. Most of the fine arts programs that I have run across in Louisiana at the various state schools are very focused on a academic construct that is very old and very much steeped in things like tenure and degrees and seniority and all these things. And I did not fit well into that environment. I was more successful than most of my PhD colleagues in grants. I was more successful in bringing in students, yet they let me walk out the front door because I didn't have a PhD and I didn't buy into the old-time thing that they had there. Nothing wrong with that, but you know, we are living in a disrupted world. I mean, technology is a disruptor. Technology is going to keep changing education. Technology is going to keep changing the way we connect with each other. Digital media is not going to get smaller in the 21st century, okay? I can't stress that enough. Your cars, your refrigerators, your toilets, everything you come into contact with in your life is going to become a digital media portal. Everyone here is carrying a digital media portal with them. Some of you are using them right now. It's just the reality. It's not going to get smaller. We're going to need more content, and we're going to see digital media threading through industries and through things that we don't even realize today. I know if some of you have been watching what's been going on with 3D scanning of environments and architecture and real estate. It's some of the technologies we're using in film that are now bleeding into architecture, and companies like Matterport, you can see Matterport, go check them out on the web. They allow you to 3D scan an environment and create textures and move through spaces in ways that a few years ago were science fiction, you know? Digital media is going to keep changing the world. I mean, 3D printing, other on-demand technologies, augmented reality. Some of my students are now working for a company in Bossier, at the Cyber Innovation Center, that is doing augmented reality network monitoring using the Microsoft HoloLens, and they're developing for the HoloLens. They're one of the first groups in this part of the country actively developing for HoloLens, and they were sought out from my school because we were training people in the Unity game engine, because this is what you need Unity to program the HoloLens. So we're at the bleeding edge of this stuff. You know, we're able to put people to work doing this. And that's something that LA Tech didn't have anybody this guy could hire who knew Unity well enough to put them to work. And we did. Think about that. And LA Tech's got a lot more money than I do. Yep.
Do you have any middle-aged students that have a background in video editing that just want to advance that?
Yes, absolutely. We see three kinds of students. We see a traditional student who's a workforce target, right? Just wants to come in, learn the skills, get a job. Wants to go work for Bungie or wants to go work for ILM or whatever. Then we see people who are entrepreneurial. People who come in who want to start a company. They want to learn digital media because they want to do something. They want to make a movie, they want to make a game, they want to do something on their own. And then we see folks who are enhancers. They have a job already and they want to enhance that job. They want to learn new skills to help them grow. A great case is a gentleman named Casey Havoc, who was one of the teachers at Caddo Career up in Shreveport, which is a career-focused high school, vocational high school program. Casey took our pilot program at night in AVE, and they took all that back to the school where he taught, and he supercharged his program. He now has a miniature copy of what we do at GMI at the high school level, and he's feeding his students. It's fantastic. And we've got students who come in who, we had one woman come through a couple of years ago. She had made a lot of money consulting, and she wanted to learn so she could do it for herself. She wants to make her own stuff. And she's an artist, and that's perfectly fine as a target as well. I mean, we see all kinds of targets. But I've had students from 18 years of age to somewhere in their 60s go through these programs with varying degrees of success. I will tell you the older students are not as generally successful at the other end of things as the younger students are, mostly because of work-life balance issues. Right? Because you've got to be successful doing this kind of content work, you've got to be able to put a lot of effort into it when you get to the workforce. It's just reality of it. So, other questions? Yeah.
Do you guys work with surrounding communities? Do you have satellite camps or classes and anything?
Not right now. We have had some interest from some groups out of New Orleans about having a satellite operation for DMI in New Orleans, in particular in the game development area. We're working with Louisiana Economic Development and Greater New Orleans, Inc. In fact, they were just up visiting me last week. We're talking about, after accreditation, sometime in 18, putting a satellite campus in New Orleans, potentially. But that's still subject to a whole bunch of things. So if this goes out anywhere anywhere anyone can see it, I'm not saying that we're extending anything, because our friends at the accreditor would get upset with me. But no, it's fine. But I'm just saying I'm not violating any rules by telling you it's a projection. It's not something we're actually doing yet. Other questions? Yes.
Another take on motion graphics, something that's hot is the drone use.
Yes.
What's your take on that? You guys using that or something?
We did a summer camp project with a drone. There's a couple companies in Shreveport that are doing a lot of drone work. It's cool. I mean, I think it's a cool platform to gather imagery. It's used a lot in, of course, all kinds of things now. A lot of times people come to me wanting to stabilize footage or add things to shots, and those are all things that it's still pretty much traditional stuff. We've been doing a lot of stuff with, I didn't talk too much about it, but we've been doing a lot of stuff with virtual reality as well. We've got a local company called Skyrunner, if you guys haven't seen them. They make a flying dune buggy in Shreveport, believe it or not. And we put a virtual reality camera on the flying dune buggy. Yeah, I know. It's Shreveport, and we're put a virtual reality camera on the flying dune buggy in Shreveport. So think about that for a second. Right? It's like Star Trek stuff, seriously. And the cool thing that I tell everybody about my experiences in Louisiana is that this is very much a frontier environment. You know, in New York, I'm just another guy, right? Here I had a chance to go and be part of a community, get some buy-in, and help lift something that wasn't there before. I could do that today. I mean, I helped Moonbot get off the ground. I worked with Millennium. I'm working with the aquarium, and dozens of other companies over the years. We're working to help grow digital media here in a part of the country where there isn't a lot of know-how and expertise at the professional level. You know, there is know-how, there is expertise, there are programs at the community colleges and at the state colleges, and some of those people are my friends and they're good people. They're just not focused on the industry side at the level we are, if that makes sense. Any other questions? Okay. Well, thank you all so much for listening to Yamaron this morning. And like I said, I would invite you all to check out the website, look us up on social media, look me up personally on social media, and I look forward to any conversations with you all. Thank you.